There's a catch in it. When you seek me with all your heart. Will you seek him with all your heart? Or is your heart divided? Is your heart all over the place? Do you even know what the heck you want? It's crazy, you guys. I have become painfully aware in my priesthood that we have a church that is mainly full of Catholics that are like Martha from the story of the prodigal son. You remember that story? Just shake heads. You know, I'm not asking to shake. Okay. And then, no, not the prodigal. Martha from the story of Martha and Mary. And, I was going to tell you the story about the bear. When you remember when I stopped? So I'm going to tell you that. So it was hilarious because I was sitting there and I was like, and I always blow my stories up a little bit when I retell them for like my friends. Because I said, I was like, oh man, I was up in Canada and I saw this 500-pound beautiful blonde. And my buddy, who's married, he's like, yeah, he's like, I don't know if a 500-pound blonde is that beautiful. And it's like the bear, dude. It was a bear, okay? Anyway, Martha and Mary, so Martha and Mary, okay? You know the story of Martha and Mary? Okay, and then the prodigal son. The older son and the prodigal son. You remember that guy? Okay. What is the connection between these two? Martha's working. She goes to Jesus and says, Jesus, tell my sister to get up and help me. And Jesus says, no. Mary's doing the better thing. And we all sit back and like, what? Because we are Americans and you got to work. Do. Make it happen. And Jesus, the second person of the divine Trinity, the Son of God, is saying no. What Mary is doing is better. She's sitting, listening to me, learning from me. And the prodigal son, the older son, the bad son, right? He goes out and he spends all his money on like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Right? He like goes to college. he comes back after he's ruined his life. He's ruined his life, and he comes back to his father and he says, Father, treat me as one of your slaves. And he says, you're my son. You're my son. Welcome home. You were dead and now you're alive. And the older son comes out and he's like, what the heck? All I've done is serve you my entire life. And you haven't even given me a goat. Which is kind of funny. Why is he asking for a goat? No, but seriously, like, and the father says to him, one of the greatest lines in the Bible, son, did you not know that everything I have is yours? You don't have to prove yourself to me. I already love you. And what we have in the church right now is a bunch of Christians, Catholics, that are jumping through hoops. They're doing what's asked of them. Going to Sunday Mass. And these are not bad things, but what's not happening is they're never experiencing the love of the Father. If I ask you to raise your hands, you don't have to. But have you experienced the love of the Father? Have you experienced Jesus himself in your life? Because once you do, your life will change forever. But that doesn't happen until you actually give it a shot. Like, really give it a shot. And people say, well, why does it take so long? Because we're so distracted. We got so much crap going on in our lives. And we always want to fix things and make them right. When the Father is saying, no, you're my son, you're my daughter, I love you, just receive from me. Let me run the show. When I was first vocation director, I did a trip. I went to 3 different cities. Actually, I think it was like 4 different cities. It was like a 2.5-week trip. I was in airplanes, sleeping on crappy beds and hotels and rectories and seminaries. It was all over the place. And I was coming home, and on the last day of my trip, it was Thanksgiving Eve, right? So like Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I was in the airport, and we landed in Minneapolis, and it was stormy, it was snowing. And I was like, this is not good. And our plane was delayed to get to Bismarck. And I'm like, no, this is not good. This is a bad sign. I'm like, Jesus, make it happen. Jesus, you and I are buddies, remember? Get me home. That's the way this works. You listen to me. Well, when they get there, the guy on the gate agent, he gets on, he's like, hey, everybody, good news, we got this plane inbound. We're going to get everybody off, get you on, turn around, and get you to Bismarck. It was great. This guy with the gate agent was like so excited. And then, you know, everybody's cheering, like, in the gate area. Like, yeah. I got my arm around this dude. I didn't know who he was. We were, like, so pumped because we were going to get home. Well, the plane pulls up, everybody gets off, and all of a sudden the pilot gets off. And I'm like, wait a second, if this plane's supposed to turn right around and go to Bismarck, why the hell is the pilot getting off the plane? And he's talking to the gate agent, and you can see the gate agent's face just like, and he gets on the mic, he's like, folks, because of the storm, this pilot has logged too many hours. We have to cancel this flight. And I'm telling you, man, if there were stones in the gate area, we would have stoned this man to death. Not even his fault. I mean, people were like, yeah! I mean, crying and screaming and like almost fights are breaking. I mean, like people were so pissed. This guy's like, apparently Delta doesn't care that they're ruining my Thanksgiving. And I looked at him, you know, and I wanted to be like, dude, it's not your holiday, okay? To be clear, Delta's ruining everybody's Thanksgiving. But I didn't do that. I didn't do that. What I did, and I tell you this not because like, oh, Father Waltz has got it all together. I don't. I really don't. I'm an idiot. I've always been an idiot. I'm a converted idiot now, but I'm still an idiot. Okay? And so I'm sitting there, and I just was like, look, there's nothing I can do about this problem. And so I said, in my heart, I'm like, Jesus, I want to see you here. Like, help me just to receive your love in this moment of chaos. And then I took off running as fast as I could to get reticketed. I'm like pushing people, get out of my way. Because I knew like everybody was going to go get reticketed. So I'm running as fast as I can. I don't know what you call them. I call them walk-evators. You know those things? Yeah, like we're so damn lazy at this point that we have to float along the floor because we can't walk. Okay? But here, when you're running to get to your plane, you double time on those bad boys, right? So I'm like booking, and I see off in the corner, like in the middle of the main walkway is this guy in a wheelchair, and he's like half fallen out of it. He's obviously paralyzed from the waist down, and he's like trying to like push himself up. He's like, ah! and he can't. And so I'm sitting there and I'm running. I'm like, man, would you look at that? How sad is that? You'd think there's a Christian somewhere in this damn airport that would help that guy, you know? And I'm keep running. And all of a sudden, you know, and I'm like looking, and now I'm kind of right on with him, and I'm like, this is pathetic. Like, people are just walking around him. You'd think somebody would help the poor guy for crying out loud, you know, still booking. And all of a sudden, like, I got off the walk-avator, and just like, it was like I ran into a brick wall. Just stopped. It was so weird. It was a really weird sensation. I just like stopped, and I just heard, like, not audibly, but like interiorly, this voice that said, the Good Samaritan. You guys remember that parable? Do you remember in that parable, there's a priest. And what does the priest do to the man that's been robbed and beaten? He walks around him. And I sat there and I'm just like, okay. So I walk over. I'm like, I'm not getting home till Christmas. You know, like, walk up to this guy and I'm pissed. And I tell you this because I was mad. Like, sometimes when you do the right thing, it's hard and you're mad. And I went over to him and I'm like, hey man, you need some help? And he like looks up at me and he's like, hey. He's like the sweetest man I've ever met in my life. He's like, yeah, I like fell out of my chair. And I'm like, dude, how'd you do that? He's like, I don't know. Strangest thing, I don't know. And by this time I'm kind of smiling, laughing. I've totally forgotten, right, the whole situation. So like I'm lifting this guy up and like kind of stretch, you know, put him in, get him all set, and he's kind of like messing with something. And I put my hands on his shoulders. And I'm like, hey brother, happy Thanksgiving. And he's like, and he looks up at me. Now, I don't know how this works theologically, but when he looked up at me, you guys, I stepped backwards. Because I know at that moment I was looking directly into the face of Jesus himself. And he just said, thank you. And I was like, man. And I'm like kind of just like, walking, you know, like kind of walking back. And all of a sudden I was like, you know, I felt like I was floating. Because I was on the walk-a-vator. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, hell yeah! Look who's the Christian here, huh? Who's living it? Who's living the dream? I am, right? And then, because I'm an idiot, I told you. And as I'm sitting there floating, you know, just loving life, like not even caring that I'm not going home, all of a sudden over the intercom comes this voice that says, Delta Flight 4886 has been reinstated to Bismarck, North Dakota. Please return to your gate. And I'm like, no way! So, you know, I'm sitting there on the walk-a-vator and I'm like going back now, and I'm looking for him. I'm like, where is he? And I was sure he had disappeared. But he didn't. Because I saw him, and eventually I saw him, and I'm like sitting there just floating, like, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and he just nods his head, winks, and smiles. And I'm just like, man, like, this kicks ass. Like, this is so cool. And like, just the joy and the peace that gets into your heart, man. It's awesome. Now, it just doesn't happen like, are you always on that high? No. And am I saying if you do good things are going to happen? No. The Lord can teach you in whatever way he wants. And that's the beauty. There is no what we call generic grace. It's not like God has this thing of grace and he's like, onto humanity. Just like, grace. No. He looks at you and he says, this is your grace. Very particular. Right? He looks at you and he's like, this is your grace. And he's got time. He's got time for every one of us. Every single one of us has the infinite love of the Father. Why? Because he's infinite. It's one of the perks of being infinite. You can be all things all the time to one single individual and to all. And it's real. Is it hard? Yes. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Will you do it? I don't know. Because what you have to do is spend time. If I told you these priests who are here, myself, anybody who really lives the Christian life to the full, really experiences the love of the Father, I can't tell you how many hours I have spent with the Blessed Sacrament. I cannot tell you how many hours. Because when God said to me, you never stop coming to me, I'll never stop amazing you. I kept that promise. I never stopped coming to him. I can count on one hand the times I've missed my holy hour since I've been a priest 12 years ago. And sometimes more. If I got more time, I'm like, yeah, in there. And it's not like I'm in there just like, whoa, like a beam is coming into my chest from the Blessed Sacrament. Most of the time, it's uneventful. Most of the time, nothing happens. At least from a physical standpoint, I think God is doing all types of stuff on me. Do I fall asleep? Sure. Who cares? One of my favorite stories, a good buddy of mine. I'm his youngest daughter. I'm the godfather for him. One time I was over and she was like running around. She's like, hey, look at me, hey, look at me, hey, look at me. Like, yeah, okay, you're great, good. Trying to talk here. But it's this, she's the little princess and it's okay, So you're total, and at one point she fell asleep. She finally climbed up into his arms and fell asleep. And he's holding her. And I looked over and I'm like, man, that is beautiful. And he looked at me and he's like, Father, this is my favorite time to be with my daughter. Because I can hold her and love her. She's not doing anything. And the Father wants to hold us, he wants to love us. And are those some of these stories I'm telling you, do they happen? Yeah, they happen. But it's not like all the time. It's not like that's happening every day. But he's working every day. He's always speaking to me. Some people think I'm crazy. I don't care. I did a 30-day silent retreat. That means I was silent for 30 straight days. In the middle, you get 1 day off. You get each day 1 hour, you speak to your spiritual director. Other than that, you're quiet. By day 12, I almost lost my mind. And my director said, you need to go out into the woods and yell and scream at a tree. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. I said, serious, go do it. I did it. So freeing. After that, I was just like, boom, I just went deep into the retreat. I got out of it after 30 days. And I drove back because my buddy got married. So after 30 days of silence in the woods, I went to a wedding dance. And it was hell. It was so loud and so terrible. And everybody's like, what were you doing? And I was like, I was praying for 30 days. Oh, okay, what'd you do when you prayed? It's like, I talked to God. Okay, right. I'm like, I did, seriously, it was awesome. And then we get out of there and my brother was there and he's like, you realize those people think you're crazy, right? He's like, they think you're talking to yourself. And I think a lot of people, when they do go pray, they think that it is, I'm just talking with myself. But silence. Think about how much noise is in your life, you guys. Distraction, noise, media, all all that stuff. It's like it never stopped. People with the earbuds in. I don't know how that ever got to be a thing. Like it's cool to always have earbuds in. It's cool to not listen to life, but to listen to some guy that's like, yeah, 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 what? Hell yeah. Like that, and that's what you want to listen to? When I go snowboarding and we take high school kids or I'm along for the ride, and they're all listening to music in their headphones, I'm like, you guys, listen to the silence. The wind blowing, you're doing 50 miles an hour, just cruising. Wind's just blowing through, you're just living. Instead of some idiot yelling at you in your ears all day. I always loved at University of Mary, because these guys would all have headphones on, and I'd walk behind them. I'd be like, what's up, man? You want to fight? Just right behind him, walking. Oh yeah, keep walking, because I'm ready. Can't hear you. They're missing life. Distraction, distraction, distraction. And the enemy keeps doing that over and over and over. Why? Because it keeps you out of the spiritual arena, where life is. What the hell has social media got you? What has video games done for you to be a better person? What has the internet really done? You know what I see it doing? I see that anxiety issues are on the rise. I see that suicide is on the rise. I see that divorce is on the rise. I see that all types of depressions on the rise. Why? Because everybody's not living life. They're living in some fake pseudo-life where they try to be somebody that they're not. You want to talk? If I'm trying to be like somebody that I'm not, and I'm trying to live up, it's like a split personality. It's no wonder people are going crazy. They don't know who the hell they are. They're trying to prove like I'm this person, like me. I want to be liked. And 90% of the people on here that are following you are not your friends. Why do we do it? Why do we do it? You don't have to. That's the good news that I'm here to proclaim tonight.